Guys, if you're new here, we've been playing Valheim since February, since the day it came out, and we have loved every minute of it. The survival aspect, the co-op, we love the building mechanics, of course. We've made over 30 videos on YouTube, and astonishingly, 4.4 million of you have watched them, which we are absolutely blown away by. But the last couple of months for us has been quite a challenge. We're running out of things to do. The game no longer has that sort of spark that it had at the beginning, and it's left us looking for something new. Now we know Hearth and Home is coming out round the corner, and that's not to say that it won't bring us back in again, but right now we're just not confident enough that the updates for this game as it comes out are going to drag us back in and quite give us that same feeling that we had when we first played it. The thing with Valheim, it was a survival game, but it had elements of MMO in it. It had gear progression, and it had character skill, it had crafting, and it had bosses. And we look for this sort of thing when we look for a new game. Me and Vet have been on the lookout for a new game for a little while now, and to be honest, we think we found it. Those of you that haven't heard of New World, it is an MMO RPG made by Amazon. The reason we like it so much is because it's not your typical MMO. But before we talk too much about New World, let me explain why it excites us. A few months ago, Vet and I decided to play a fresh playthrough on Valheim, but this time we wanted to spice it up a little bit. We wanted to add some mods. So we used a mod called Epic Loot. Epic Loot basically aims to give Valheim a more RPG experience like Diablo or Destiny, for example, where killing NPCs is a chance to drop rare, epic, or legendary loot. You might come across an axe that cuts down trees quicker, or a cape that increases your stamina. I remember us speaking around the time saying I wish there was a game like Valheim with good action combat, randomized loot drops, but was a massive multiplayer online experience. Now, I know MMOs offer these things, but the issue we found with MMOs is that they don't share the same level of charm that Valheim does, whereas New World did. You spawn in on the beach and you go through this really simple tutorial, and then you're left with this world. You make your way to the first settlement, and you hear all the other players chopping away at the trees. You hear the crack of the wood as the trees fall down, echoing off the mountains. It really makes the game feel that it is alive. The first impressions of the game when you first spawn in very much gave us the same feeling as when we first played Valheim. Now, there were so many things in the New World beta when we played it that we just fell in love with. And I want to talk to you about all of them, but the best one, the first one that I want to talk to you about is the combat system. Now, both Vet and I have played quite a few MMOs, and one of the things that we liked about New World, they don't use like a targeting system. In other MMOs, if you cast a skill while looking roughly in the direction of your opponent, that skill will hit them. Whereas in New World, you have to hit your target. If you're using a ranged weapon, you have to shoot them. And if you miss, you miss. And it just added this sort of feeling of immersion into the game. Your skills have cooldowns, but the cooldowns are quite short. So although you can't spam your abilities like you can in Elder Scrolls, you're not sort of stuck with a skill on a massive cooldown like it is in World of Warcraft. There's always a skill there that you can use, which keeps the combat feeling really fluid. The other thing that's really nice about the combat is you can be whatever you want to be. So if you want to be a light armor mage with a fire staff, then you can be. Or if tomorrow you want to have a go at being a heavy armor sword and shield tank, then go for it. I've never played an MMO where you get one character. Every MMO I've ever played has a class system, and some have a race system where you pick the class you want and the race that you want. New World isn't like that. You get one character, and that one character is everything. And it very much made me aware of how much having multiple characters breaks the immersion. The character is you. You level up all the different weapons that there are, and although the early levels are quite easy to level up, as you progress, the levels get longer and longer, so you feel that you're truly sort of mastering each weapon. And the same thing applies to the crafting system. So there are many different crafting stations and gathering skills and professions that you can have, and again, the early levels are quite easy to get, but some of the later ones start to become quite intensive, meaning that eventually, yes, you will be able to master them all, but certainly, I would imagine, in the first several months, if not over a year, there will be value in specializing in a profession. A lot of the endgame weapons and gear can come from crafting, and given how challenging some of the crafting stations can be to level up and gain experience in, if you have put the effort in to become a master crafter in a specific area, you add value that not many people do, and that value is tradable. There is no in-game NPC that you can sell things to. There are a very small amount that you can buy things from. It is a player-to-player marketplace. The only way to buy or sell anything is to buy it or sell it to or from another player, meaning that if you are that master crafter in a specific area, the things that you craft are in very high demand. It cannot be got from anywhere else. So if you, like us, found Valheim to be this charmingly wonderful game that gave you this sense of true immersion, with skill-based combat and choosing how you want to play the game, then like us, you may find that New World is the same for you.